Hello students, welcome you again to our English class on Madhu App. Children, in the last period, we discussed the trunk of Ganesh. It is written by Jayant Mahapatra. We have already discussed some of the paragraphs of this story. The remaining part we will discuss today. So, before going to the next part, let's have a recap of what we discussed last class. Govind Maharana was an idol maker. The superstition haunted him throughout his life. Breaking off the trunk of Ganesha every night for the successive third time made him uneasy and gloomy. His wife thought that due to old age, her husband could not make as good images as his father and his father's father did. So children, now we will commence reading of rest of the paragraphs of the trunk of Ganesha. You must be tired working without a break, she said, her words betraying her simplicity. You know what day it is? He studied her for a moment and continued. And I am already late on the large Ganesha. What had gone wrong? He could not understand. Making an image was child's play for him. Only in this case, the idol was somewhat larger than most. The trunk a little heavier, a trifle longer. That was all. Perhaps the clay he had been using was just that measure sort of its adhesive quality, which makes for a smooth, tight binding. But it was the same clay he had been using for years. For innumerable images he had perfected and sold. Then why the sudden tear at the point where the elephant trunk took a turn and swung gently downward? Was the weight too heavy for the clay mold of the image's face to support it? Sulochana did not want to question him about his work, for she knew that he was one of the best image makers in the whole valley. Govind Maharana's images. It's hard to find better work than his. She had heard the townsfolk often say he was one of the few excellent craftsmen left, and she nursed her pride in secret. Children, in the remaining part of this topic, and yet some inner voice hammered at her. Was it because he had asked for a better price, a rather exorbitant one, that what was considered reasonable for an image of that size? She was convinced that her husband was a righteous man, but was not it possible that his seeming greed had angered the unknown? Now we will know the meanings of some unfamiliar words of this topic. Betraying, it means to be disloyal to someone who trusts you. Child's play. Children here, child's play. Apostrophe will be there here. Child's play means very easy. Trifle, it means something unimportant or not valuable. Adhesive means sticking or binding. Here in this image, you see someone is pushing another boy down, means he is betraying to him. Betraying means to be disloyal. Child's play means very easy. We can do it simply or very easily. Trifle means something unimportant or not valuable. Adhesive means sticking or binding. Here in this image you see the soil is very sticky. Okay. Sticking or adhesive quality. The soil is having adhesive or sticking quality. Next. Innumerable means in many numbers, a lot of. Here you see in this image What images are in large number? The image of idol Ganesh. Okay, innumerable Ganesh idols. Nursed means looked after. Exorbitant means higher price. Next, hammered means kept something again and again until you remember it. Kept saying something until you completely understand or understood it. Children, now we will discuss the meanings of all paragraphs line by line. Children, first stanza. You must be tired, working without a break, she said, her words betraying her simplicity. It means, she means Sulochana told her husband that you are working to complete the idol of Lord Ganesha since morning, so you must have been tired. Please take some rest. After taking rest, you again commence your activity, begin your activity. You must have been tired. Sulochana said this to her husband. Her words betraying her simplicity means Sulochana was very simple. Her words betraying her simplicity. You know what day it is? He studied her for a moment and continued. And I am already late on the large Ganesh idol, on large Ganesha. Here, Govind Maharana responded to his wife. He told her that I am very late to complete the Ganesh idol because the puja is fast approaching. He is burning midnight oil to complete it. So he reminded his wife Sulochana, you know that I am already late. I am already late to complete this idol. Don't tell me anything else. Let me to complete my task. What had gone wrong? He could not understand. Means something mistake is happening from the part of the Govind Maharana. Govind Maharana is trying to accomplish his job. But something unfortunate incident is taking place. What had gone wrong? He could not understand. Means Govind Maharana could not understand where he commits wrong. Making an image was child's play for him. To make the image of Lord Shiva, Ganesh is very easy for him. But this time, this situation, why does it not allow Govind Maharana to complete it? Where does he commit wrong? Making an image was a child's play for him. Means for Govinda Maharana, making an image is very easy. Only in this case, the idol was somewhat larger than most. The trunk a little heavier, a trifle longer. That was all. The Ganesh idol that Govinda Maharana was making, its trunk was a little heavier, a trifle longer. Means a little bit longer. The trunk part was not as normal as he was making the idols of Lord Ganesha in the previous time. Perhaps the clay he had been using was just that measure short of its adhesive quality, which makes for a smooth, tight binding. Here, Govind Maharana is suspecting about the quality of the soil. I think the clay might not have some adhesive quality that keeps the clay binding on a particular structure. He suspects about the quality of the soil. But it was the same clay he had been using for years, for innumerable images. Here, Govind Maharana becomes confirmed that I am using the same clay. And this clay has helped me to perfect a lot of innumerable images in my past life. So this time, why does it happen? He could not understand. For innumerable images he had perfected and sold. Then why the sudden tear at the point where the elephant trunk took a turn and swung gently downward? Means the point where the trunk of the Ganesh takes a downward movement. At that point there is a tear. He could not understand why this tear comes again and again on the image of Lord Ganesha. Why the sudden tear at the point where the elephant trunk took a turn and swung gently downward? Was the weight too heavy for the clay mold of the image's face to support it? Again, he thinks that the clay that he had put on the trunk might have been too heavier to support the trunk. That's why it comes down. Sulochana did not want to question him about his work. Sulochana, his wife, did not want to question him because she knows that Govind Maharana was one of the best image makers, idol makers in the whole valley. She knew that Govind Maharana was one of the best image makers in the whole valley, the valley area where they were dwelling, living. That was very familiar and popular about Govind Maharana's skill of making different idols. He was a skilled person to make idols. Govind Maharana's images, it's hard to find better work than his. Means nobody is comparable with the skill of Govinda Maharana in terms of idol making. He is unparalleled and uncomparable. Okay children, nobody is as good as Govinda Maharana in field of making idols and clay activities, art of making different idols out of clay. Better work than his. She had heard the townsfolk often say he was one of the best excellent craftsmen, townsfolk. What will they say? He means Govinda Maharana was one of the few excellent craftsmen left. Means many of the craft person who were alive and very popular, they are no more, except Govind Maharana. Govind Maharana is only lively person who is very talented, very popular in the whole valley. According to the townsfolk, he is one of the few craftsmen left in the valley. And she nursed her pride in secret. Nursed means boosted, took care, was proud of. She means who? The wife of Govinda Maharana was proud of. He nursed, he boosted, he increased. Okay, her pride in secret. Means her wife was very happy for her husband's excellent work in the field of idol making. And some inner voice hammered at her. Inner voice means the voice of the lady Sulochana told her repeatedly. Okay. Was it because he had asked for a better price, a rather exorbitant one, than what was considered reasonable for an image of that size? And some inner voice hammered at her. Hammered at her means what? Told him repeatedly again and again until he understand it completely, or she understand it completely. Some inner voice of Sulochana told her again and again that your husband, okay, might have charged more price on the customers, might have asked an exorbitant means a higher rate of price. What was considered reasonable means what was considered normal or acceptable one, more than the limit, that is called reasonable, considered reasonable for an image of that size. She was convinced that her husband was a righteous man, an honest man, a sincere fellow, but was not it possible that his seeming greed had angered the unknown? Children, in this paragraph we came to know that the inner voice of Sulochana told her repeatedly that your husband might have charged more price for the Ganesh idols or other idols. That's why such kind of unfortunate incident is happening. But later she was convinced, she was made realized and aware of the fact that her husband is a righteous man, an honest fellow, a sincere, committed person who could not charge a higher price than the reasonable one on the customers. Okay, so children, this is all about our remaining part of the first part of the topic, the trunk of Lord Ganesha. Now we will discuss some questions and answers. Write true or false in the brackets given below. Children, now tell me which one is correct and incorrect. Gobind Maharana was making the trunk of Lord Shiva. Trunk of Lord Shiva. Is it correct? No. Correct answer is Ganesh. It is false. Then next, Sulochana was proud of her husband's skill of idol making. Was she proud of? Yes, she was proud of. True. Then next, making an image was a child's play for Gobind Maharana. Is it correct? Yes, children, absolutely correct. True. Children, the trunk of Ganesh idol made by Gobind Maharana, was a trifle shorter. Is it correct? No, trifle longer. False. Gobind Maharana was very greedy and charged more prices for the images. Is it correct? No, it is also false. Then next section, children, next type of question. Answer in a word or a phrase. First one, who nursed her pride in secret? Who nursed her pride in secret? Yes, Sulochana, the wife of Gobind Maharana. Answer is, who nursed her pride in secret? Sulochana. Then next, for whom was it a child's play to make an image? For Gobind Maharana. Answer is Gobind Maharana. You must be tired working without a break. Who gave this statement? Who said this? You must be tired working without a break. Who said? Sulochana said. Answer is Sulochana. Then next section, children. Fourth question. You know what day it is? Who said this? Who gave this statement? You know what day it is? Who said? Gobind Maharana. Then next, what does Gobind Maharana think about the soil quality? But it is actually not correct. What does he think about it? About the soil? He thinks that the soil might have lack of its adhesive quality. The soil lacks its adhesive quality. Answer is the soil lacks lacks its adhesive quality. Its adhesive quality. Okay, children, that's all about today's discussion. For taking part in this discussion, I would like to thank you. Thank you, children. Bye bye.